Why is it that sometimes you can see the life you want so clearly, the success, the freedom, the person you hope to become, so vividly in your mind that it almost feels real? And yet, the moment you try to begin, the moment you think about taking the very first step, you suddenly stop. Why is it that every morning when you wake up, you tell yourself, "Today will be different"? You start making plans. You imagine what you'll do. You may even feel a brief surge of motivation, but by the time night arrives, you realize you've repeated the exact same day again. And why is it that after this cycle repeats for long enough, the thing you begin to doubt is no longer the plan, but yourself? If any of this feels familiar, then today's conversation is not about accusing you of lacking discipline, and it's not about offering another simple message that says, just try harder. What we're exploring instead is a psychological pattern that many people live with, yet rarely fully understand. Why some people have goals, have ability, and still find themselves unable to begin. And why the thing that truly holds you in place is often not that your dreams are too big, but that your brain is quietly working in ways you may not even notice to keep you exactly where you are. Most of the time, the problem isn't that you lack goals. In fact, you may know exactly what you want. You imagine the moment when things finally begin, perhaps finishing that project, starting your own venture, or learning the skill you've wanted for years. Some mornings, you even wake up thinking, "Today is the day I finally start." But what happens next is often very familiar. You glance at your phone, a few messages, a couple of videos, maybe some news. You tell yourself it will only take a few minutes, but when you look up again, an hour has already passed. So you make a new promise. "I'll start after lunch. I'll begin when I feel more focused. Tomorrow will be better." On the surface, it feels like you're still moving toward action. But in reality, what you're doing is simply this: planning again. Psychology has a term for something like this. It's called the planning fallacy. When we imagine the future, our brains create a subtle illusion of progress. In other words, simply picturing the action can briefly make us feel as if we're already moving closer to the goal. So the brain receives a small sense of satisfaction, while the truly difficult step, actually beginning, gets pushed further and further away. Over time, this creates a quiet illusion that you're very close to starting, but in reality, you may only be moving further and further away from action. If this cycle continues for long enough, it becomes very easy to start blaming yourself. You might begin thinking, maybe I just lack discipline, maybe I'm simply lazy. But from a psychological perspective, the story is often more complicated. Your brain was never designed primarily for success. It was designed for survival. For most of human history, our ancestors were not focused on building careers or achieving personal dreams. Their main task was staying alive, avoid danger, conserve energy. Because of this, your nervous system naturally favors two things: avoiding discomfort and seeking ease. So when you think about doing something difficult, starting a complex project, writing a report that requires hours of focus, or learning a completely new skill, your brain quickly evaluates the situation. It sees effort, uncertainty, the possibility of failure, and your brain does not like uncertainty, so it offers you an easier alternative. Check your phone, watch a video, scroll for a moment, something that gives you instant relief. These small actions trigger a little dopamine in your brain. You feel slightly better, the tension fades, and slowly your brain learns a simple lesson. Avoiding difficulty makes me feel good, so the next time you get close to doing something important, your system quietly pulls you back toward what feels easier, not because you are weak, but because your brain is simply doing what it evolved to do: protect you. Very often, the thing that stops you from beginning is not laziness. It is something far more subtle: perfectionism. You often hold a very clear picture of success in your mind. You want to write an excellent piece of work, create a truly impressive project, or launch something that feels polished, professional, and meaningful. Because the image is so clear, any imperfect beginning can feel uncomfortable. So you wait. You wait for a better plan. You wait until you feel more prepared. You wait for the right conditions. But the problem is, that perfect moment rarely arrives. Psychological research suggests that perfectionism is not simply about high standards. Very often, it is connected to a deeper emotion: fear of failure. Because if you never truly begin, you never have to face the outcome. Your ideas can remain safely in your mind, untouched by reality, still perfect. But the moment you start acting, reality enters the picture. The work might not be great, the plan might not go smoothly, and for a perfectionistic mind, that uncertainty can feel threatening. So procrastination becomes a form of protection. As long as you don't begin, you cannot fail, but the cost of that protection is very high, because you will also never discover how far you might have gone if you had started. When procrastination repeats enough times, it slowly stops being a single decision. It begins to turn into a habit. You may already know this feeling. The moment you think about starting something important, your body reacts first. A small resistance appears, so you decide to do something else for a moment. Maybe you tidy your desk, maybe you reply to a few messages, maybe you simply check your phone again for a few minutes. In that moment, the uncomfortable feeling softens a little. In behavioral psychology, this process has a name. It is called negative reinforcement. When you avoid something that feels uncomfortable, the discomfort temporarily disappears, and your brain records that experience. It learns a very simple rule: avoiding this makes me feel better. So the next time that same discomfort appears, your brain will move even faster toward the same choice. Little by little, a loop forms. The more you delay, the stronger the resistance to action becomes. And the stronger that resistance becomes, the more you want to delay again. Many people believe this means something is wrong with their personality, but in many cases it is simply a behavior pattern that has been reinforced again and again. Your brain has only learned one thing: avoidance brings temporary relief. And when that pattern continues long enough, starting anything important can begin to feel harder and harder. Perhaps now you can remember some familiar moments. You sit at your desk knowing you should begin that thing, the project, the plan, the goal you've been thinking about for a long time. But just before you begin, a familiar feeling appears again, a little hesitation, a little resistance. So you tell yourself, maybe later, maybe when I feel more ready, maybe when the timing is better, but perhaps by now you can start to see something important. Very often the thing that keeps you stuck is not your ability, it is waiting for motivation, waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for the feeling that says, I'm ready now. But the truth is that feeling rarely arrives on its own. Action is rarely the result of motivation. More often, motivation is the result of action. When you begin doing even a small thing, your brain slowly learns a new pattern. It learns that discomfort does not destroy you. It learns that difficulty is not as dangerous as it once seemed. And little by little, the resistance starts to shrink. Change is rarely a dramatic breakthrough. More often, it is a series of very small decisions. A little progress today, a little progress tomorrow, step by step. Until one day, when you look back, you realize that the person who once felt completely stuck has already begun to move forward. This is happy psychology. May you understand yourself with more clarity and meet change without losing who you are. See you next time.